Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today, I will be reading from the Am I the Asshole subreddit. So let's jump into it. AITA for telling my friend her baby's French name isn't actually French. You know that awkward moment when someone proudly says, "We named our baby after your culture," and they get it completely wrong? Yeah, that happened to me. And when I corrected her, everything fell apart. Now she says I ruined the birth of her son. But was I really the bad guy for telling the truth? So for context, I'm French. Born and raised in France, moved to Canada a few years ago. My wife and I live a quiet life here now, and one of my closest Canadian friends is a woman named Emma. Emma has always been fascinated by French culture. I mean, really fascinated. She loves my accent, asks me about Paris, French food, art, even how I pronounce my name. Honestly, I found it charming at first, until it got a little intense. When Emma got pregnant, she was over the moon. She told me months before the birth, "We're naming him something truly French. It's inspired by you." That sounded sweet, but a little too much pressure. One day, I ran into her husband. He let the baby name slip, both the first and middle name. When I heard it, I paused, because, well, the first name was clearly Italian, not French. And the middle name? It was a French-sounding name, but spelled in a way that no one in France would ever use. So I gently told him, "Just so you know, that's not actually a French name." He sighed and said, "Yeah, I told her. She won't listen to me. Maybe she'll believe you." Fast forward to the birth. Emma posts this beautiful photo of her holding her baby with a sign behind her that says, "Welcome, our little French prince." And then she tags me, saying the name was inspired by my culture. In the comments, people were gushing. "Oh, so elegant. So Parisian. She's so cultured." But her husband pulled her aside in front of me and said, "Emma, please stop calling the name French. We've talked about this." And I added kindly, I thought, "Emma, the first name is actually Italian, and the middle name, we don't spell it that way in France." She froze, like I just slapped her in front of everyone. She got defensive. They're basically the same. French, Italian, same vibe. Then she started crying and told me I ruined this special moment. Her family turned on me. One person said, "You just couldn't let her have her joy, huh?" Even now, weeks later, she's still mad. She barely talks to me. Her husband? He says I just confirmed what he was already trying to tell her, but that I should have waited until after the party. My wife says I did nothing wrong. That honesty, delivered kindly, isn't cruel, but I can't shake the guilt. So, AITA for telling my friend her baby's name isn't French? Was it rude to correct her? Or was I just honest? Let me know what you would have done. Drop a comment below. Was I a jerk or just honest? Okay, so the top comment on this post has 12,000 upvotes, and it says, "Why are you friends with her if she wanted to listen to any of your advice?" This isn't like asking, "What do you think of this dress?" This is your friend straight up asking for input on a decision based on your culture and actively telling you that she wants something French. If she wasn't going to take your opinion as a French person with experience living in France, why even ask you? Why even try to make it sound French? It makes absolutely no sense. She made her bed. She can lay in it. I also agree that Op could have brought this up before the fact, but Op didn't even know these names until the day of the party. It's not like you knew the name beforehand and decided to let it slide. You only mentioned it when you had no other choice, because it was literally right in your face. Also, the comments under that comment are filled with similar sentiments. But let's look at the other side of things, shall we? There's another comment that has 7,000 upvotes, and it says, "ESH. I do think it's okay to correct someone who is mispronouncing or misspelling a word. Doing so publicly on a day that's supposed to be all about her baby is objectively rude. As a new parent, there is zero chance that I would want to hear how I named my child wrong, especially not while celebrating my child's first moments in the world. Your friend may have wanted to push the narrative that the name is French, but that doesn't mean she didn't actually put some effort into making sure the name fits with French culture. Maybe she picked a name that she thought sounded French without looking into whether it actually is French. Regardless, this is between her and her husband. You don't have to like her choices, but you don't have to criticize them either. Not every aspect of another person's life needs to be an opportunity for you to share your opinion. I personally think this sentiment is a little unfair because you were invited to the baby shower and you were given the opportunity to express your thoughts, and you didn't say anything. Also, the way you phrased, it sounds like it's your fault that she chose this name because you were simply sharing your culture with her. It's not like you told her what to name her baby. You just shared your opinion. Ultimately, it was her decision. But yeah, that's where the two sides of the argument are. Let's move on to the next comment, which has 4,000 upvotes, and it says, "The thing is though, you did correct her in a way that was very nice and polite. You weren't rude or snarky about it. You were just honest. However, I don't think you could have possibly known that this would cause such a huge reaction. So I don't think you're the asshole. Although I do think it's weird that she asked you for advice on a French name and then outright ignored your advice. Like if someone asks me for advice and then gets mad at me for giving them that advice, I'm gonna be a bit confused. Also, this comment is a bit hypocritical because they say you shouldn't criticize her choices, but at the same time, they're criticizing her for making this choice. So yeah, a lot of mixed opinions on this one. I personally agree with you. If someone asks me for my opinion, they should be prepared to hear my opinion. Also, I understand where you're coming from. If this was a baby shower gift or something, I wouldn't have said anything because ultimately it is her baby and she can name him whatever she wants. But she posted it online. She tagged you in it. So it was kind of like you were part of the conversation. And also, I am just getting the feeling that this girl is a little obsessive about French culture. And I feel like if you were to ask her about French culture, she would know a lot about it. And also, there's a difference between appreciating another culture and appropriating another culture. So I'm just getting the feeling that she crossed a line somewhere. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Was the asshole for telling his friend her baby's name isn't French? You decide. Anyways, that is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Am I the Asshole? If you did, please leave a like. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit video. Bye.